Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
All right, it is Coffee Ann on ON Radio on Wednesday morning. It's May 17th. Thanks for joining us. My name is Joe Callahan, and I am surrounded by the ladies today. So
it's a nice shift.
Could be very concerning for me anyway. But at the Coffee Ann table, let's say good morning to Nancy Phillips. Hi, Nancy.
Good morning.
And Paulette Hamilton. Hi, Paulette.
Good morning.
And Melissa Smith is joining us from the St. Antoine communities. Tim Draper and John Ward obviously cannot make it here. We hope they can make it in next week. So before we get into all the conversation, we need a continuum of a message, because I had to use that word, Melissa.
I know. They're going to hear all about it because it's my punch phrase, and these guys...
First message from the St. Antoine communities.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know a lot about St. Antoine community, we are a large long-term care campus located in North Smithfield, and we're on the line of Blackstone, Mass. and Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the two buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. So if you're presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
Very good, Melissa. And Paulette, you're from North Smithfield, so
Yes.
and you're on the board at the St. Antoine community?
And my mom is there, and my aunts were there, and my grandmother was there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you know all about it, huh?
I could not ask for a better place, seriously. My mom's been there several years, in the memory care unit, which is another very important part of that organization, which you can't find always, a good quality memory care unit. So. Yeah, kudos to everybody there.
How long have you been on the board there?
Oh, I think about 800 years.
800, okay, that's about right.
Since it opened.
Since it started, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. And Melissa, you like having her around?
Oh, I love it. Actually, I just took a picture of your mom the other day, so she's probably the most photogenic person on the entire unit, too. A camera comes out, and she's immediately like...
Smiles.
Like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
Let me fix my hair.
I know.
She's 92.
And well known. I feel like everyone knows your mom, and it's nice. And obviously Paulette as well. She walks the hallway, and I feel like everyone knows you. You know everybody. It's nice.
It's a family, extended family.
That's fantastic. Well, the important question of the day goes to Melissa. Is did you acquire Taylor Swift tickets for this weekend?
I did.
Whoa!
Oh, you did?
Wow,
I did.
good for you. Now,
like,
do the kids know?
They do not. They will be finding out tonight. This just
my
happened
God,
for us.
they're just gonna freak out.
We did not. We're not one of those people on the news that dropped $1,500 a ticket, or
Right,
I've heard
right.
everything from $1,500 to $10,000 a ticket.
Yeah, right.
I work in nonprofit, so therefore that wouldn't have been an option. But we were fortunate enough that my husband works with someone that was able to hook us up very nicely, and we paid face value. And
great.
My girls do not know, and they're not listening. Thank goodness. So I feel like I can get it off my chest. I've been holding the secret inside.
Oh, my God, what a treat.
It is. I just can't.
Is it
even.
just you and the two girls going?
And my sister?
Okay, so the four of you going.
Yep.
Where are the seats?
I don't know. He's picking the tickets up today.
Right.
All his friend told him was that they were excellent seats, and I really don't care.
Okay. You're inside the stadium.
I've only
that's
seen
all
her
that
one
matters.
other time, and it was in the high 300s at Gillette.
Yeah.
It
You might be
really
there
doesn't
again.
matter. And I was listening to sports radio yesterday, and there
Yes.
was a female commentator on, and she was just bashing Taylor Swift and saying, I don't get how people can spend all this money to go see someone at Gillette. Arena concerts are terrible. To spend anything more than $100, you're ridiculous. Well, unless you've been to see her in concert, and I've only been one other time, it is not a traditional concert. It's an
different.
experience.
Okay.
It's like going to Disney World. Like, you can't go to Six Flags and then go to Disney. It's completely all surrounding, even up in the 300s, you're involved. And so yeah, I don't care where I am.
So how are you going to tell the girls?
So evidently there's some kind of trend that's happening at the concerts. Taylor's asked her fans to bring friendship bracelets, and there's a specific song that she plays where it references
Okay.
the significance of these bracelets, and you're supposed to exchange them with the people around you, kind of like in mass. I feel like it's going to be like a shaking the hands of those around you. And so we don't have time to make friendship bracelets, but I was able to buy some on Amazon, and I'm cheating the system. I'm just going to put some in a bag and put the tickets at the bottom of it, and I think they'll get what the gist is. So
I see.
yeah.
I do
Make
hear
sure
some
you
people.
record
Yeah.
I do hear some people are like dressing up like her album covers.
Oh yes, that's the other thing. So in the background, I feel like this is too long of a story, and
No,
we're probably
go right
boring
ahead.
everybody.
No.
So my husband, who we've known for a few days that these tickets were going to happen, and so in my Amazon cart there was a very appropriate sparkle top thing that I put in the shopping cart because I'm thinking, what am I wearing? My sister and I are old. These girls are all going to be wearing, and I in my mind had heard about that. Everyone dresses like their album covers. So my daughter, being a 16-year-old girl, has a few semi-formal dresses at this point that she can just put a denim jacket over and wear a pair of Chucks and go to a concert like this and be fine. But my sister and I, what are we wearing, So he comes downstairs and
Pajamas.
he's like,
That's what I'd be wearing. I'd be ready for bed after that.
well, we did joke about we wear Brooks running shoes because they're the best for like arthritic feet, which we both have. And I said, how will our sparkle tops look with our Brooks athletic sneakers? So I'll take a picture at the show. But my husband had saw the shirt in our Amazon account, like the checking out little area, and he questioned, was that intentional? And like, are you really wearing that? And so. But it's to match the album covers. So I have a maroon and my sister has an emerald green, and it's the Eras Tour album and then the red album. So yeah, so we're matching, we're going accordingly.
Well, I hope you have a great
We're
time.
following the rules as best we can. We want to
rules.
blend in and look young.
Look,
Younger.
so what time does it supposed to start?
The parking lot opens at 2:30. I
Okay.
don't think I can ask my 13-year-old to like be there from 2:30 until she goes on stage at 8, but the opening acts, I don't know who they are. They start at 6:30.
But you don't want to get caught in
So-
traffic and not get in.
I know, and my daughter has a track meet down in Narragansett on Sunday morning, so
Oh, she's gonna be beat.
I'm like, oh, how are we doing this? So I'm not really sure how we're
All right.
doing any of this yet. So next week it'll be.
Well, I want to hear all about it next week. The whole,
I'll probably
the whole
sleep until
thing.
Wednesday, so you'll be the first person I see.
All right, perfect. Well, great. All right, Nancy, you know anyone that's going to see Taylor Swift?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Someone that when I substitute teach, there was a woman, one of the teachers there, and I saw pictures online of the boots that she bought her daughter to be
So
able
funny.
to
You got to
go
buy
to
a new
this.
outfit to go to the show.
It's a cult. It's like
It's-
there's
it's
a
a girl-
following.
it's a girl thing.
It's a thing.
And when I'm at school, one of the projects the students have had to work on was their favorite band or performer and whatnot. And a lot of the young ladies have chosen Taylor Swift. And I said, oh, when you get in there, she was born in Pennsylvania. And they go and they look at the info. How did you know that? I said, well, my husband has a cousin who went to school with her in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania.
You have a little claim to fame there.
Yes, well, actually, my husband's cousin does, but just because of where his family is originating from, and it's like, and his cousin will often speak about elementary school days and being with Taylor
wow.
Swift.
Wow. How about that?
I knew her when. Like that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Paulette, knowing anyone that's going?
Not a soul.
Not a
No,
soul. All
no,
right.
no.
Well, good.
I'm glad I had boys. That's all I can tell you.
Well, that's the other thing. I hope you can hear the show over the high-pitched screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to just be going on from beginning to end. But
That's where I think until Wednesday I'm just going to be sitting in silence in my house, just like letting everything just melt down.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, on to another subject. Nancy, the Autumn Fest Steering Committee announced the winners of the 2023 Nancy Phillips Autumn Fest Scholarship winners. First time that's been named after Nancy this year. So
I was quite shocked.
that we named it after you.
Yes.
Nancy was on the Autumn Fest committee for well over 30 years, almost 40 actually. And we decided to do this tour. And then we awarded 3 scholarships, a $1,000 scholarship to Riley Forcier. And she's a senior at Woonsocket High. She's going to go to Rhode Island College in the fall. A $500 scholarship to Lillian Cananan. She's a senior at Mount St. Charles. She's heading over to New England College in the fall. And another $500 scholarship to Alexandra Hay, another senior at Woonsocket High. She's going to Brown University in the fall. So the money will help out in their expenses. And you know 2 of the students.
I do know.
You had them as students, huh?
I had them in elementary school.
Oh, wow.
Yes. In fact, let's see, one was at Vernon, and then they moved over to Savoy. and the other young lady I had at Savoy.
All in the phys ed area? 'Cause that's what you taught, right?
That's what I taught for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Basically every elementary school in this city except for Glow Park.
Yeah. You couldn't make it over there?
There was just never an opening at the time
Yeah.
when I was around, whatever. And I was like, that's okay.
What are your thoughts on the sit and reach test?
What is the sit and reach test to begin with?
I don't.
Pure torture in phys ed class.
I don't think it's even being done anymore.
It is. My girls
Okay.
did it.
Did you say sit and reach?
Do you
Sit and reach.
remember this?
Flexibility.
No, I don't.
Yes.
So you sit on the ground and
Yes.
you reach?
Yes, there's like a box with a little table that comes over your lap, and you
Yep.
have to like
You
reach
have to
across. Oh my! You
It's-
don't remember this?
It's flexibility.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, quote in the
I
olden
would
days.
stay in that position if I
well,
did.
for those of us with short torsos and long legs, it was nearly impossible, and I remember always failing the sit and reach test. I could never
You
get.
can fail it?
Yes, like right, because it's the arch of your back. It is supposed to test your
It's
flexibility. but
flexibility.
All right, everybody,
It's very
let's try it now.
stressful. I can't touch my toes normally, so
In the
it's-
olden days, it was I can remember it was a wooden box, and now you put your hand on it and they push. I don't even know what it is, like a metal slide, and it goes out to measure how far
You can go.
you can reach.
yeah.
So,
And if
but
you don't get to a certain point, you're not flexible enough?
that's part of it. But
Wow.
they preferably they would like to see you get to at least 0 because 0 means you could touch your feet.
All right.
If it was a negative number, you were not able to even touch your toes.
Yeah.
And then if it was a plus number, you were flexible enough to go
Well, those are the gymnasts. So.
past. Or dancers.
Oh, dancers.
dancers,
Okay.
yeah.
Dancers.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in school, it was always the presidential physical fitness
And that was part of
tests.
it.
That was one
They,
of them.
do they still do
I
that?
don't remember that.
You don't remember that
No,
either?
now it's more. It
No?
used to be Fitness Gram,
Yeah.
and I don't know what they're doing now, if much of anything. I can remember doing the mile run in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I despised it.
Yes.
I did. I mean, I was an athlete, but for me, it was short spurts. I played field hockey. I played basketball.
Yeah, so you weren't for the long run.
For the
You-
mile
you were
run,
sprinting, yeah.
I despised it.
She sounds like my daughter. I literally just had this conversation last week. She's like, I am a 3-season athlete.
Right.
I'm in lacrosse. I'm in soccer.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But I can't run long
I
distance.
hate the mile.
If
Yeah.
they'd given me a basketball, probably to dribble around the mile, I could have done it.
Yeah.
But just to
Yeah.
get out there and run.
She said the same exact thing. She's like, it's the continuous run.
Yeah.
That just drives you crazy. But you probably in those sports run well beyond 3 or 4 miles
Oh,
in
sure.
a game.
Definite.
Yeah. And you don't remember doing any of this, Paulette, in
No,
high school?
I'm sure. Well, I remember. Well, this is getting very embarrassing here. No, I think I know I didn't like it because we had to change our clothes. Now I went to Catholic
Yeah.
school, so
Oh.
we had to change from our uniform
Mm-hmm.
into a gym outfit, which consisted of shorts a certain length,
Oh,
and
yeah.
other things, So and we didn't have showers there. I remember that. So it was just.
A pain.
I don't. Yeah, it was more of a a hindrance than a help.
And the
I-
gym uniforms were rather ugly.
Yeah.
Because in Bellingham, I went to the high school in the 8th grade, and they were one piece, cotton, baby blue, snap up the front.
Right.
And you had
right.
to have your name embroidered on a
Yeah.
certain side so the PE teacher could go down through and take attendance.
Yeah.
Wow, all right. I remember the physical fitness test,
Yes.
elementary school, and I thought it was being it was always geared towards easier, at least I thought at the time, for the girls, because the boys had to do pull-ups. But the girls just had to jump up onto the bar and just hang.
The flex arm hang.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand why they just get to hang there and we have to actually do work.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, it was both parts of it. There was
Yeah.
a flex arm hang and a chin-up
Was
portion
it?
of it.
Well, things may have changed since
Yeah.
I was in elementary school.
You blacked it out because of
I think-
post-traumatic
I
stress
think-
too, and I wonder how
This
many
is all
other kids have done
PTSD
that
right
as
now.
well.
It's all going to come back to you tonight,
Yeah.
Paulette.
Yeah. Bad dreams.
You'll be crying in your house. All right. It's time for a break here on the Coffee and program. So, Melissa, it's time for a second message from the St. Antoine Communities,
We were
please.
talking. I lost track of time. So, as I mentioned last week on the air, and I'll probably do this for the next few weeks, we are going to be selling purple pinwheels at both of our facilities, at the Ville at St. Antoine and the Residence. For $5 a pinwheel, we are raising money and awareness about the longest day, which is intended to raise funds for the Alzheimer's Association Rhode Island. They do this, big national campaign every year, landing on the 21st of June, indicating the longest day. And they just really want to see if they can spread the word and awareness about Alzheimer's. This is our little flyer. You're going to be learning all about this tomorrow at our advisory board meeting, and maybe even being asked to purchase a pinwheel or two. And what we're going to be doing with the pinwheels is that on the 21st, we're going to be lining our walkway on our property and having a big celebration for staff and any caregivers that want to come, just to come out and join together for a photo opportunity and just have a visual moment, I think, of our support for those that are really struggling with this disease. So if you need more information about this, you can reach me at 401-767-3500, or again, you can stop by either of our facilities and purchase your own pinwheel.
All right, Melissa, thanks. More of the Coffee Amp program is coming up. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240. For home-style cooked meals, you'll always be happy you decided to stop into Missy's Family Restaurant. They're open 7 days a week at 7 a.m. Breakfast is served all day. Great food, tasty food, with large portions is what you'll find at Missy's Family Restaurant. From juicy burgers and crispy fries to satisfying pasta dishes and fresh seafood. Bring your loved ones, enjoy a meal that will leave you feeling happy and satisfied. Missy's Family Restaurant, 801 Clinton Street, Woonsocket. Come on down and taste the difference. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON AM and FM.
All right, it's Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. This is Joe Callahan here with Nancy Phillips and Melissa Smith and Paulette Hamilton. And they're still complaining about that stress, that's fitness test kind of thing. Bad times in school. That's too funny. All right. But speaking of school, and I want everybody's opinion on this, but mostly Nancy. The town of Warren is joining Governor Dan McKee's Learn 65 RI Compact. Did you know what this is?
I heard about it this morning.
And the plan is going to move away from the traditional 180 school days to a year-round instructional approach. And they're trying to, it's to help Rhode Island catch up with Massachusetts in their test scores in math and English. And they want to catch up by the year 2030. And so Warren is jumping in with a few other towns: Providence, East Greenwich, Bristol, and Newport. So as the former teacher and now a substitute teacher, what do you think about getting rid of 180 school days and going to this year-round approach?
The first thing is infrastructure of these buildings, because if you have these students in school in the summertime, there's no air conditioning. Mm-hmm. And there's basically going to be no learning going on, because they're not going to be able to handle it. I said, if they can fix the buildings and they can put air conditioning.
This sounds like money.
Oh, I know. I mean, sorry, but we've got 2 middle schools that relatively new.
Yeah.
No air conditioning in the gym.
Any air conditioning anywhere in the building?
Yes.
Okay.
But for some reason they chose
Not
no
there.
air conditioning. I have been in there come September as a
Must be
substitute
brutal.
teacher. It's a sauna.
Yeah.
And you can't open the doors because it's a safety concern.
Right. So let's assume for a minute that the air conditioning is okay. What do you just think about year-round school?
It's going to take some learning all the way. I don't know if I want to say learning. Rethinking of families and vacations, and I mean, we're so used to 180 days, getting the summer off type thing. Come winter time, you're going to put people on vacation where the weather is not enjoyable for most of us. I've gotten older now, and I realize I don't like winter anymore.
Joe, if I can just
Yes,
make
Paulette.
a quick comment. I think most of this concept, and having worked with the governor for so many years, I think it's more of a conceptual type of thing as opposed to a brick and mortar concept, So it's thinking about educating children on various levels throughout the year as opposed to at the end of the school year, then nothing transpires, right? So I don't know if it's necessarily utilizing existing school buildings as much as it's like
More of an online?
having things online, having availability for opportunities for kids to participate, things at libraries, so that the whole community becomes more oriented toward a lifelong, that concept, a lifelong learner, right? So, and not necessarily, traditional learning, as it were, but, giving opportunities so that the person becomes more well-read, more well-bred, more opportunities for experiences that they may not have, and getting the community involved in that to provide that opportunity.
All right. Thoughts on that, Melissa?
Lots of thoughts, I think. Agreeing with Paulette. If it were even more of an approach in the summer, if it's not, so literal that it was going to be an extension of the school year all throughout the summer, but if it were an opportunity for more electives, I will say that this has been a really challenging year for my 16-year-old daughter, who's an overachiever type kid and who, expects a lot of herself and wants the high grades and is in all honors classes, etc. There's really no enjoyment anymore in school for her. So if that was something that offered her an opportunity in the summer, the down months, to maybe dabble a little bit in a photography class or whatever else. I mean, she's very into our chorus program in our town, so that takes up 2 of our electives, and it doesn't really give her an opportunity to test out some of the other electives. So if it were that, I'd be all for it. I know in our town we have... the last couple of summers, they've done some new summer learning opportunities and clubs.
Yep.
And my middle schooler was all over it last summer. We did everything we could. I mean, in terms of exposure to a volleyball club, and there was I think a class maybe run by the American Heart Association for babysitting. So she got certified as a babysitter last summer. So there were just opportunities to maybe test something in a non-threatening environment. 10 to 15 kids, they limited spots, and you could just kind of go and be a part of this for a few weeks. It filled the summer a little bit for them without it being school.
Overwhelming,
But if
Okay.
it were more structured, potentially, like just an all year round calendar, I'd be even more worried about, you probably wouldn't have sports in the middle of the summer, and I'd be worried that a lot of kids need sports as an outlet. My own kid as an example. And so I would worry about school without an outlet.
Right. It's less structured and more just overall looking at how people in general can contribute to the educational opportunities that kids have. Then if that were the case, it's not a mandate. This is not a mandate or anything.
No.
It's just a suggestion. So if the town wanted to and got funding for, let's put that in there too, opportunities like you said your daughter has experienced, if they were well received, can we add a couple more of those? So it's kind of building off that. I don't think there's any anything that is being a directive to the cities and towns. It's getting them to think more globally about education as opposed to looking at it as a single 180-day concept.
And the last few summers here in the city, there's been summer programs to hopefully catch up, but more, as you said, introduction of science club.
Right, try
hands-on.
Right.
Where they don't get that time in a normal school year or school day because they're trying to do all the other academics. So it's been an experience of them coming in and doing things that have not been offered during a typical school year, which is good.
But if we're trying to raise the scores of English and math, how is having a photography club going to help?
Well, it may not directly impact, but it goes back to that, like, rounding out their knowledge base and their exposure to different, that street smarts piece that I shared on the air that my daughter is very, very smart, book smart. She's learning to drive and it's going terrible. And I just think it's that. It's like as many things as you can expose your kid to on a broader level will inevitably help in some of those other areas that they're struggling.
And even a photography class, you have to read different things and you have to write about different things, and so it encourages them to start using the skills they learned in school outside and become more well versed.
Okay. What's going wrong with the driving?
I don't know.
Have you been?
I've already dominated the show with too many.
But that's funny though. But have you been in the car with her?
So we've made the decision that we're not going to drive together anymore.
Wow,
So
that decision's been made.
Her and my husband have had a really good couple of last drives, and we've decided I might be the problem.
Wow.
And I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. I struggle when you're on back roads or you're near guardrails. And you're the passenger and you're like right there and you're trying to tell them that you're
too close.
and,
Move over.
And Mom, you're stressing me out. Be quiet. Okay, well, I'm really gonna die, and you're not because you're on the left side. It's this is our first experience with teaching someone how to drive, and so
So I pay for my grandchildren's driving lessons. Mm-hmm. Yep, driving
was
lessons.
nice of you.
Yeah, that was it. My son said, "Would you like to do something for both of your grandchildren?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Something that will benefit them for life." And I said, "Oh God,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yes,
What is it?" And he said, "How about driving lessons?" I said, "Fantastic." So he did not have to get behind the wheel with them. Neither did his, their mom. And
Well, usually the
he
driving
just-
school tells you, oh, you should drive with your child, and so you can
Right.
teach them as well.
Right, but I mean the basics, right?
Right,
Just driving around their little development and stuff was okay, but getting on the road was a whole different ballgame, right?
Right.
So, and I think it really worked out. My grandson just sent me 2 days ago a picture of him smiling with his license in Florida.
Oh,
you
good.
know,
My
and,
grandson
yeah.
was the same way. He had
Yeah.
requested money so he could pay for his classes.
yeah, it
And
really
whatever.
gives him a good foundation, and he got 100 on his test. So he had been working at it though, And my son is a commander in the Navy, so let me tell you that house is run
Rigid.
like
I wouldn't want to learn
that.
that. I would
Rockford.
love
Oh my
that.
God! But yeah, it was really I think a valuable experience for him, and also the other flip side is the insurance is less.
Yes.
If you go through that. So,
Right.
I mean, that is such a big expense. Anything you can do to shave that, shave a few bucks off that is
That
fine.
and honor roll. At least
Yeah.
when
Well,
my
that helps
son
too, yeah.
honor roll helps.
All right. Now I can tell this story, but you can't tell your daughter until after she gets her license. Okay.
We've got till September. So go
Well,
ahead.
okay then. And I don't know. Did you hear what happened in Mansfield with the driving school person? There was the way they do it in Massachusetts now. You go to the driving school takes you out for testing, and then they do the actual. They provide the tester. Okay, from the state.
Okay.
So there's the child. There's a 16-year-old behind the wheel. The person that's marking how you're doing sits in the passenger seat. The person that was teaching you how to drive sits in the back seat. So this 16-year-old girl goes to pull out of a parking lot, went too fast, shouldn't have gone. They get hit by a truck. In the back where the driving instructor was, caused him to have a heart attack. Took him to the hospital. He passed away.
Oy.
It just, I was shocked. And my daughter actually knows this girl. I'm like,
She will never.
I go, she'll never drive now.
She'll never drive.
Until maybe she's like 25 to get
Yeah.
over this. I go, that's shocking.
Yeah.
That happens. So you
All I
can't
can-
tell your daughter that story.
All I can remember is when my sons were going for their test, they were doing it over on Aylesworth Avenue at the time, and the parent literally stands on the sidewalk as the car and your child and the tester leave.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to wait for them to
Come
come
back. All right.
Well, this has been a great conversation.
Well, we're gonna get to a.
That was hard.
Before, I'll even
We're going to get to a note that's been called in, then we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. And it just says to the panel, but it's really directed to you, Melissa. It just says a waste of your hard-earned money to go see the incredible Taylor Swift. Maybe they left out a word there. I don't know. That's all it says. So, but some people think that way, and
Making
others think
memories. That's where we're-
it's a great investment to go see them.
Making memories, and
or-
it's not about me.
It's about the kids,
It's about the
right?
kids, yeah.
Well, I hope they have a good time.
Thanks.
All right, more Coffee Ants coming your way. It's time for the forecast. And the forecast here is being brought to you by Compassion International.
There is a hazardous weather outlook and red flag warning today until 8 p.m. and a freeze watch for overnight. Sunny skies today with a high of 59. Tonight, patchy frost after 3 a.m., otherwise clear. Overnight low tonight of 32 with a light north wind. Thursday's weather, sunshine with a high of 62 after a frosty start. Friday, mostly sunny with a high of 68. Saturday, 70% chance of showers likely, mainly after 11 a.m. Mostly cloudy with a high of 66. Sunday, a 50% chance of some showers, then mostly sunny late in the day with a high of 75. Monday, mostly sunny and 71, and Tuesday, mostly sunny and 68.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, where we have sunny skies and 56 degrees. Drought, war, and rising food prices have devastated families in poverty. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate. Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. Join me for Do You Remember, Tuesday through Friday mornings at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
This portion of the Coffee and program is sponsored by Navigant Credit Union.
What does it mean that our customers are our owners? It means that we don't have shareholders like a bank. We have owners like you. And though we don't have traditional shareholders, we do share. We share values, expectations, and yes, profits in the form of better rates, lower fees, and dividends. Our customers are our owners. Our owners are our customers. Come join us. Navigant Credit Union.
All right, Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Paulette Hamilton and Melissa Smith and Nancy Phillips. And okay, have we all heard what Stop and Shop is doing?
Plastic bags?
Plastic bags.
No more.
All over. It doesn't matter if your town has the rule or not. They're getting rid of the plastic bags altogether.
Wonderful.
And but you know what else they're doing? They're kind of keeping this on the down low.
You're making you pay for
You
the
have to
paper.
pay. You have to pay for the paper bags.
Why? If
Why?
they give you plastic free,
No.
Oh my God, I feel
So
like if
it's-
you already
now-
spend more than $100 a week in
Yes.
groceries, you should get your bags for free.
But it doesn't sound like a lot.
They
Okay.
make so much money.
It's 10 cents. It's 10
bag.
cents a bag. And so I did a little figuring. Hey, wait a minute. So if it's 5 bags, it's a week times 52 weeks. It's $26. Let's say that you're just
Right.
giving to Stop and Shop for no reason.
right?
Again, not a lot of money, but why are you
That's why
giving?
I
Why are you
reuse
giving
my-
them $26?
That's why I reuse my cloth bags when I go.
Well, that's what they want you to do.
Right.
And so.
And yes, I do wash mine.
Oh,
That was
well,
one of the
okay.
big things during COVID. They wouldn't touch them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
When you went in
yeah.
shopping, if you came in with your bags,
Yeah,
they
they
would
said
not.
they go, okay.
They would not pack them.
Yeah, but they will now.
Yes.
So, did you know? Were you aware of the 50 cents
I
a bag?
But I do the same thing as Ms. Phillips. I actually bring my bags.
All right.
Because it's just, I think that's the right thing to do.
All right.
Really. And you do just wash them out, and once in a while,
Right.
throw them in the washer,
Yeah.
not a big deal. And I just feel like I'm making at least some small contribution to, this processes, right? Even for the, you have to cut trees, and you have to have and the
Right.
water. And we were talking about water and wells and things over, offline here, and how important water is. And there's always a lot of water to produce bags, that are made. So I mean, everything. If you look at the big picture, I think ideally, if we could all do the reusable bags, that would be in everyone's benefit.
You on board with this, Melissa?
I'm on board with it. I'm not
Yeah.
a religious user of recyclable bags. It's just because life is hectic and sometimes you forget them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just it's going to be a new habit,
It will be.
right?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. I think charging is ridiculous.
And they don't tell you that. See, if you look at the bottom of the receipt, because I saw it. Hey, wait a minute.
Right.
I'm like, hey.
At least at some of the stores, they
$2.50.
ask you how many bags, and I'm like, none.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, and then here sits, my bags in the child seat area.
Yeah.
Like, why are you even asking?
Yeah.
bags
They
are
ask
right
you,
there.
did you bring your bags with you?
Yeah, they're right there.
I think Aldi's been doing this for a while, though, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've always done the
They've had
charging
their
for
own-
Charge the bag.
bags,
Yeah.
and so
Well,
they,
it's to discourage people, I think, from doing that, right? So if you
Yeah.
bring your own, you don't have to worry about
That's
it.
right.
So it's not going to change the way you shop. You can say,
No,
oh,
but
I can't go to there
Melissa
anymore.
is right. It's
Sorry.
going to eventually be, 10 years from now, when
Universal?
everybody finally gets it, people will say, "What? You used to use plastic
yeah.
bags?"
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a weird thing, right?
but then you're gonna miss them when you have a kid with wet cleats. Like, what do you put those in?
all right, so
car? Like,
start
that's what-
thinking of something now, and then you'll be
Oh,
rich. But
and then whatever that is gonna have to be washed somewhere in my house. It's that's the only. I do reuse them when I have plastic bags in my house,
Yeah.
multi-purpose. Some of them, but
All right.
yeah.
Well,
We threw Joe off on that one.
no, it's funny. Of the reusable bags we have, one of them is actually insulated. I don't know where we picked this thing up, which is great for the
I have
frozen
some I can
foods.
bring
I'm
some
like,
in for you.
great.
Yeah.
So, but I'm all set. We got.
You're sure you're? I was like, I'll bring some in for you from St. Antoine.
Nope, I am good to go. So, all right, we just other things going on in the news. There was a man in Providence that was convicted of murder of his girlfriend, although I don't know why he calls him his girlfriend, when he shot her in the shower,
Oh my goodness.
and then said, "Gee, the best thing to do would be get out the Saran wrap and the blankets and the towels and put her in the refrigerator."
Right.
Luckily, she wasn't in there very long. Police were called for a wellness check, and they found her. And then they asked him. This is a quote. They asked him, why didn't you call 911? When you found out there's a problem. I don't trust the police. Oh, brilliant!
Wow.
Well,
Sure.
he was convicted, and he'll be sentenced at a later date. But now
that's
he's
just such a bigger issue, right, of domestic violence and
Yeah.
everything that people still have a hard time talking about because it's a secretive issue, right? So that wasn't something that just happened overnight.
oh no, that
That was
starts.
a deterioration of a relationship,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
families are involved, and it's a tough situation.
It is, but I don't think resorting to shooting her in the shower is the best thing you
well,
should be doing.
Probably not
No.
not the most mentally stable individual, right?
I guess not. All right,
God.
this thing rears its head every once in a while, and it's come up again, and it's being headed by Massachusetts Senator, U.S. Senator from Mass, I should say, Ed Markey, and other members of Congress, and they want to expand the Supreme Court. We want to go from 9 to 13. We're going to jump right over 11 and go right to 13. Is this needed? Anyone? Nancy
I'm
says
going
no.
to say no.
No, right off the bat.
It's
Nine's
been
fine
the Supreme Court with 9
Nine.
members for,
since the beginning.
well, probably.
Yeah.
Why do you need to expand it? Why does it need to be expanded
Well,
outside of who they want to appoint?
well, that's it. It comes down to political reasons. We need more of one side. We don't have enough. Right now, we don't have enough Democrats on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Well, and I not
What?
being a Democrat, I can understand that philosophy, but I also think that it's very important to have a balance. Whether whatever it is, whatever we're talking about, the Supreme Court or
Isn't it 5
like
to
the
4
town
right now?
councils or the city councils. I think even in the legislature in Rhode Island, we have a very small Republican minority. And there are people that are not being, in my estimation anyway, being represented as well as they could be, right? So I don't know if there's a need to expand to 13, but there's been such a hue and cry with a lot of the members of the Supreme Court over the last 10 years and their ethics or lack thereof, and possibilities of resignations, and the whole process of putting someone into that position is very, very difficult and
Yeah.
takes such a long time, and doesn't always end up the way you want it to be. So I guess I'd have to learn more about what the concept is, what the rationale is for the 13 as opposed to what we have now. But
Well-
I do like more equal representation, because I think it's good to have disagreements. I think, there are a lot of times, like myself on the town council, I have, people that are on the council that I don't always agree with, but sometimes they're brilliant, and I'll be like, that's a great idea. And, that's something that I think we have to be open to. If you're really going to be representing constituents, they're made up of all kinds of people, right? So you have to be really careful.
And you have to have a
not
conversation.
to be narrow-minded, right.
Melissa, any thoughts on the Supreme Court?
No, I actually appreciate both
Okay.
comments that were. This is lovely, by the way, having an all-female panel.
I'm glad you're
I'm
enjoying
very
it.
outnumbered most of the time, and it's maybe more of a little
Slanted.
slanted
right.
with some of these topics. So it's kind of refreshing to hear
All
from
right.
your perspective. But I have been asking you for an all-female panel.
I know, and-
for like
and
maybe
Here
once
you-
a month.
Here you go.
We could just have Amanda's wonderful from Navigant. She's been volunteering to come in and to fill a few other spots with other ladies.
Now, Markey is contending, Paulette, that the expansion of the Supreme Court is needed to restore public trust in the nation's highest court following the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Do you agree with that statement?
No, again, I think it just comes down to representation, right?
All
Because
right.
if you have more conservative-leaning Supreme Court justices, then you may have that, that result, right? So I think, again, I know we can't dictate, I would love to be able to say we have to have an equal number of Democrats and Republicans on there, just so that the spirited debate and the outcome is something that will be a result of a good discussion, But
How would they go about? This might be a silly question that maybe I'm just too naive to think of, but an additional 4 spots. How would you go? Like, what's the word I'm looking for?
a point.
Yes, easily appoint without it being biased. Like, I mean, if you obviously did it right now with the
Be up to the
Democratic
president.
president, it would be 4 appointed spots. Obviously, they'd be
Yeah.
all
Right,
Democrats.
Right. See, that's
So
the
how would
point.
you go about that? To
Well,
make
that's
it an
what they
even
want.
an even shift. Obviously,
There's
yes.
none, right? There's no, it's
So-
not.
It's
no
not
way.
even.
No, it's not.
So
even.
that would be more of what I'd be concerned about.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Even as
So it would be heavily weighted depending on who's in office, right?
yes,
Correct.
absolutely.
I mean, that's
so it'll
just the way it
constantly be a
goes.
battle.
Yeah.
Constantly. So would this be up to the entire Congress to vote to approve this, both Senate and Congress to do this?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that'll be a while.
Yeah. That won't happen.
Well, certainly not anytime soon. You talk about representation, especially on the Republican side, Paulette, here in Rhode Island. I don't know if you heard, but we had that city councilor down in Cranston that was arrested for allegedly smoking crack and
Yes.
fentanyl in his car. He resigned from the Cranston
The
Republican Party.
committee.
He was the head of the Republican
Right,
Party in
correct.
Cranston,
Committee, right.
but not from the city council.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
They
guess-
they had the president of the city council on saying that she hadn't received his resignation yet, but
Right.
I mean they anticipate it. I mean,
it's gonna come.
There's another sad situation, right? Of an individual 41 years old.
Oh, yeah. Passed out in his car.
Who's got an addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many families that have, family members that have addiction issues, and you don't always know till something happens like that. They hide it well. And this gentleman is, he's young enough to be my kid. And, how sad to think that, he's had this addiction problem, and maybe has been tried, maybe family members have tried to help him and have been unsuccessful. And in a way, this is probably a wake-up call for him, hopefully.
Yeah.
If
Hopefully.
not, it won't
Yeah.
be long before we read about, his passing. But, it's a tough thing, I think. And for a politician,
Yeah, you're always in the spotlight.
you're
so-
there no matter
Yeah.
what. You can't escape it. So if this was just another individual, and you hate to say it, I don't mean that in a denigrating way, but if it was the, Joe Average, nothing against you, Joe.
Thanks, Paulette.
It would have been just passed on in
Right.
the news, and we would have felt, oh, that's too bad, and nothing. But now it's a big deal, and there's a lot of pressure when you're in politics too, right? So I mean, and to keep up a certain facade, and I think it's multifaceted here. So I hope he gets the help that he needs, and
Sure.
I hope people can be at least a little bit kind to during his recovery process.
And there's another politician in the news, this time down in Warwick, the school committee member, that was arrested in February on DUI charges. Well, the DUI charge was dropped.
And do we know why?
It just says it was dropped.
Nice.
I don't know if they did a breathalyzer or what, but no, that charge is gone. However, she was also arrested for assaulting a police officer at the time. So the DUI charge was dropped, but she pleaded no contest to simple assault on the officer. So she'll get a $100 fine or something like that, and don't do it again,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
It's hard to say.
Sure is. All right, we're going to take another third break here on the Coffee Ant program. This segment of Coffee Ant has been sponsored by Navigant Credit Union.
This is an ad about a self-made teen. Me. See, I go to school, I do my chores, but I also have my own goals. I'm saving what I earn from making radio ads like this one to buy a gaming computer, and I'm using my Embark account to do it. With no fees, mobile banking, and a money management tool, it's like a spend account, but a lot smarter. So if you're a self-made teen like me, I suggest you get one too. The Embark account, banking for the self-made teen. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
There are plenty of new Buick and GMC vehicles in stock right now at Tasker Buick GMC. Whether you need a spacious SUV like the Buick Encore or Enclave for your family adventures, or a rugged truck like the GMC Acadia or Canyon for your toughest jobs, Tasker Buick GMC has you covered. Tasker Buick GMC, Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Visit online at TaskerBuickGMC.com to browse the selection and schedule your test drive. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
All right, it's Coffee Ant on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Paulette Hamilton and Nancy Phillips. And just want to bring this up and see if Nancy has any thoughts on this one. Up in Massachusetts, in Holliston, Massachusetts, the teachers union up there has issued a vote of no confidence in their school superintendent.
Okay.
All right. At 98%. Wow. That's a lot. 98%
That is a lot.
said no confidence. So they say the issue is with communication and retaining staff, not affecting the collaborating with others in the community. This person has been the superintendent in Holliston since 2020. In all your years, has the teachers union ever taken a no confidence vote in the superintendent that you can remember here in Woonsocket?
I was not a big union person.
Okay.
Did we ever do it? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think we ever did in Woonsocket.
Okay.
I hear about the strike, before I was employed by the school department, of the teachers going on strike and the union president landing in jail and a few others of the union officers. But that preceded me.
Okay. Paulette, when you were in charge over there in North Smithfield, that ever come up
No.
as an issue?
Not that I recall, no.
Okay.
No, but you have to. I mean, it's obviously egregious things, or to the point where they feel that there's no way that they can communicate. And I mean, let's face it, communication is key, right? For anything, for any organization.
And if you're not,
and so 2020 was probably somebody who had left, and this person came in, and now it's COVID, and that you've got that whole period of time, and it's real easy to judge sitting here. Right?
Well, sure, of course
we
it
really
is.
don't know what happened, right? And if there was something that went on for you figure the kids were out of school, right? And there was not a lot going on.
That's what I'm
and
thinking. That was COVID years.
maybe there was you got to give somebody a little bit more time, because really this just ended, or supposedly, as far as legally ended, May 11th. So I guess I would reserve judgment and want to find out what exactly happened. But I think when you have a 98%, and the other thing is, it's very interesting because, being on one side of the aisle and on the other, so being a superintendent in administration and being a teacher are entirely different things, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
perspectives are different, and,
Yeah.
and expectations are different, and so the older I get, the more I realize that there's four sides to every story, not just three anymore. So I try to reserve judgment and find out, because could this have been an inexperienced superintendent just starting in 20? And then not having time to do anything for a couple of 3 years, and just getting on their feet now, and people are impatient, and let's get going. I mean, there's probably a lot more to it, The best thing to do is go sit at a coffee shop in that community and get the scoop.
I can't imagine coming in as a superintendent or even as a principal during COVID.
Yeah.
Everything was so different.
up in the air, right? All right, we'll see if you want to judge on this. This is out of Kentucky. All right.
Kentucky.
Middle school teacher in Kentucky has been suspended. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Suspended.
Just bracing herself.
Suspended after a student wore a Ku Klux Klan costume for an assignment.
Can't.
The student wore the costume to a school in Somerset, which is southwest of Louisville, which officials say was for an assignment about historical figures. The student's teacher allegedly gave them permission to dress up as the KKK's very first Grand Wizard, Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Wow. There's not even words for that one.
There isn't any words for
There
that.
is no
That's
words.
Just, it's like, what do you, other than what are you thinking?
Right.
Why do you think this is a good idea?
I wonder if they would have let them, dress up as Hitler or something too. I mean, what is the
He's a historical figure.
Right?
yeah, right? I mean, do you dissuade them? Is that a teaching moment that went awry?
Yeah.
Is
I feel
that
like that.
like, okay, Johnny, we know that person existed.
Yeah.
Do you understand the ramifications of that person's
Right.
existence and how even today,
It's
things are.
But look where it's taking place, in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Correct.
And maybe they think this
Yeah.
person's a great person.
Well, or maybe not.
Or maybe
they
not.
just
Or
think,
maybe not.
he is historic. I didn't even know his name. Actually,
I never
the
heard his
first
name
person.
either.
No, that's a good trivia question. But yeah, so the teacher was suspended for allowing that. Is that what
Middle
you
school.
said?
Yes. They probably went, they probably went to the kid and said, why are you dressed like this? Well, for it's a school assignment. Well, who okayed
Right.
this? Well,
Right.
she did
Right.
or he did.
He did, yeah.
And they go to the teacher. Well, yeah, I allowed this. So, okay, you're out while we investigate and see
Yeah,
how
yeah.
things go.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because, if there are policies against, this type of thing or not, if it's subjective,
well, it's the whole-
if the teacher can
Oh
make
my
that
God.
decision and, even if it's an unpopular one, I don't know, right?
But
And
you can't go in and say, is it hate speech or is it not hate speech?
Well, that's a
Dressing
good
up like this
question.
guy.
Well, history
Right.
is
That's a very
history,
good
right? So
point.
this
History's
is a part of
history.
history.
Yes.
I also think, where are the parents in this? Like, if my kid came home and said, I've chosen this person to do my
Yes.
feature project on,
You would
can you go
probably-
out and pick me up a costume?
on
Wait,
Amazon?
what? Like, I would have a possible moment at Amazon. I would have a possible moment as a parent, and I probably would even be reaching out to the teacher. I mean,
What were
is
you
this? I'm
thinking?
picturing this kid walking to school in this costume. There's a difference between showing up to class, slipping something on, showing what it looked like, the visual, taking it off, burning it, throwing it away after.
and having a
Or
discussion
walking- yeah, and a
about
discussion surrounding.
how horrible
Right.
that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's the only redeeming quality here. If
Right.
that had happened,
But
so
the only thing
I
I'm
don't know.
thinking of, because of where it's taking place, is maybe the family is involved in this organization and they don't have to go buy a costume.
I'm
We
agreeing.
have it hanging up in the
That's why I brought
closet.
up the parents. I'm bringing
Oh,
that
here
up
you
because
go.
of that.
Yeah.
So I hate to always say the
Yeah.
teacher, the teacher, the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a responsible piece I think in the house as well.
Right. Good point.
Again, history is history, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take away from if there was a positive in this kid's project, but the location and I don't know.
Right.
All this seems a little.
But then again, as Joe brought up, is it something that the parents might be involved in, and do they already?
And they think it's a great idea.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you can't jump online and easily buy a costume like that without being flagged.
Yeah.
Getting a visit.
Right. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
And
Basically
well,
a white
you should.
sheet.
But if you're the high, they got
Well,
all
yeah.
those different colors too.
Oh, all right. Well,
Right.
sorry, I don't know the history that far.
Well, it's like this,
Thank you.
Nancy.
Thank
All
you,
right.
but yeah.
on to other things.
Crazy world.
This is
lots of other people you can present on.
Right.
well, that's what I was thinking. Historical
Definitely.
figures: Washington, Lincoln, JFK, Martin Luther King. There's plenty to pick from.
Plenty.
And did it have
Susan
to be
B.
an
Anthony.
American? Did it have to be an American historical person? It could have been any.
It just said historical figure.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go to another country.
I'm sorry, you've got king and a queen and whatever of England and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Don't
Now
know.
we know who you'd pick for your project. I feel like there's
Well, let's congratulations to this guy down in Florida. This is a good story. A man and a woman, man and his girlfriend, they're walking along the Little Econ River with their dog when an alligator ran out of the river and grabbed the dog.
I can't.
This is a 12-foot alligator. This is a good size animal. So the man reportedly jumped on top of the gator
Gator, yeah.
and was able to free the dog.
That is so weird. I was in Houston a few weeks ago visiting my son, And we had walked through this park, beautiful, you know, sort of an urban park. And I looked to my left and I said, "Oh, Dalton, don't move fast, but move." And there was an alligator, had to be at least 18 feet long.
In Houston, wow.
In Houston, and the
I
thing. And so we moved away.
On the water.
It was sunning itself
Yep.
Yeah,
on
that's
a
what they
nice
do.
little thing. And I was like, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything
So large.
that close,
Yeah.
and you know, not in captivity."
Yeah.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it's funny you're saying that, because we hear this screaming. This woman is screaming, "Riley, Riley, Riley!" And I'm like, "What the heck is that noise?" This black lab saw it,
Oh.
and then
And ran out.
and started, you know, down this hill toward it. It got off its nice little perch and like sunk into the water, and all you see the eyes, right?
yeah.
And I
Ready.
said to my
That's how
son,
they attack.
"Don't look, don't look, don't
I
look,
can't watch.
don't look, don't look."
I can't even
Keep
Cover your
walking.
ears, right?
Yeah.
And then before you knew it, the dog listened to the owner,
Thank
turned
goodness.
around at the last minute, ran back up, and she grabbed him and put him on a leash. And I was like, "Oh my God, I want to go
Wow.
back to Rhode Island."
You want to go back to Rhode Island, but we just had a bear sighting up the street from us, and
Yes.
Yes.
and
Cute.
I'm listening to your
Cute.
story, and I'm thinking, I'm hoping that in a moment like that where you're up close and personal with something wild and large, that you stay calm like you did, because I picture myself not like even thinking of it. I'm
It was really
Unsettled,
it
and
was, it
would-
was intense. And we talked to some
Wow.
people in the area, and they said they had never seen anything, and it was a bayou area, and they said
Yeah.
they'd never seen anything that big,
Texas.
that up that high.
Well, the Florida wildlife officials say they eventually did capture the reptile. I don't know how they can tell one from the other, but the city of this Florida, Oviedo, Florida, they're warning pet owners you got to avoid walking their pets near any bodies of water
That's right.
now because it's alligator mating season.
Yeah.
And I guess you should know that if you're down in Florida.
What is wrong with those people?
That's right. All right, on to other things and Taco Bell. They want to cancel the trademark Taco Tuesday. Did you know someone has trademarked that name?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There are two companies.
Yeah,
fighting
there's
it, right?
there's a rival fast food company called Taco John's.
Yeah.
There are none around here.
Okay.
But they trademarked Taco Tuesday and they've had it for 34 years. So Taco Bell is fed up with this. And now they're arguing the phrase should be freely available to all who make, sell, eat, and celebrate tacos. Okay? The fast food chain added nobody should have exclusive rights in a common phrase. So Taco Bell filed a petition with the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board. There is such a thing.
Yes.
And it can take up to 2 years before they make a decision.
Yay.
We gotta eat a lot of tacos before we figure out what we do here. Now, Taco John's, they've got 40 days to respond. And if the two can't reach an agreement, this could go to trial. Who's got the right to say Taco
well,
Tuesday?
But if it's a registered trademark, which we know Autumn Fest is,
Yeah,
it's still very
It's ours.
difficult. It is ours, and we've paid for it.
but to stop people from using it.
Good luck on that one.
Oh, I know. But all I can see is Taco Bell wants to use it in their advertising.
Right.
And they
Ooh,
and they
yeah, that's-
nationwide, and they
Can't
can't
they-
do
They
it
can't.
right now.
Can't they just stick it to them and do Taco Thursday? Like, are we not, able to? It's a play on a T. We're not
Right,
talking about.
right.
There's no rhyming moment in Taco Tuesday. So just
There's a better alliteration with Taco Tuesday than Taco Thursday.
Well, that's because you're used to Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, our head is saying
Our head
Taco
is saying
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, but just flip it to Taco Thursday. Say it a few times, and
Well, get a hold
Moving on.
get a hold of the Taco Bell people and say just move to another day.
There you go.
They'll save a lot of money.
Yeah,
gosh.
because if I was Taco John's, I would fight this, and we're going to trial. I think Taco John's wins. We've had it for 34 years.
That's right.
It's ours.
It's a registered trademark.
I don't.
can we talk about the name Taco John's? Like, I know we've never
Well,
heard of it,
I know.
but that's not a very
It's like
catchy.
it's like Papa John's Pizza. It must be someone started by someone named John.
No, I just
For one of their
expected it
name
to
and-
be a little more.
Creative.
Well, talk to them as well. Sorry, I don't know what to say about that. All right, we've come to the end of the program. Thank you very much for listening, ladies. Thanks for coming in. This has
Thanks for having
this has
us.
been great. I was worried with me up against the three ladies how this was going to go, but
You
it
did
went
great.
thanks you
You're
very much.
welcome.
It went very well. So Nancy Phillips, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. See you next week.
All right, and Paulette Hamilton,
Fun
thanks
to
for
be
joining
here.
us.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks a lot.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do You Remembers at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON